Okay, so this is Summer Starved. I'm going to do a little bit of a walkthrough from the single Alpha from the artist Alma Dogma. I dig the name, bro. A lot of people are interested in what was going on in that intro, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it for you and then break it down a bit via Ableton. All right, cool. So the beginning, I have a little bit of percussive elements, so we'll start with that. We've got this cabasso, which is this kind of sound, mixed in with a little bit of a shaker, kind of making this thing. And as you see here, there's a little bit of a space to give a little life to when the intro hits in. Got some claps going on here. I guess I set in some claps, and then the tambourine. So that's the percussion side of it. Don't worry about all this crazy stuff. There's a lot going on in here, so I'm just gonna break it down for you here. Okay, auto harp is kind of the main part. It's getting this little percussive element. So it's out of tune, a little wonky, but as you listen to it as is, there's not really anything going on. It's literally just 4 tracks playing the same thing at different levels. So not the same thing exactly. So we have this sound, this sound, this sound. So I just took this auto harp that my dad had from the 60s, and I just used a mallet on it to play pedal tones that are kind of out of tune, but they kind of work. So then they end up kind of making this weird sound here with the percussion. So it's building some tension. And on top of that, I put this glockenspiel, which is doing the same kind of thing. It's pedaling on this note, and this note. And then right around here, it kind of adds in the melody a bit with sounds kind of like Christmas. So let's listen to that with the auto harp. The volume is coming up. I've automated the volume on the Glock to slowly come up with this percussion element. And they're kind of making a bed for the rest of the sound to lie on. Okay, so let's move on to the synths. Okay, so this right here is the first synth line. I just kind of came up with it, ran it through the mixer to kind of scorch it a bit. And it's kind of coming up with that. There's a volume automation on that to bring to life what's coming next. So it's all kind of layering on top. It's kind of wall of sound vibes there. But I also put in this kind of weird, what I call miscellaneous feedback. So again, almost like horror movie soundtrack vibes here, which is, it's actually a recording of a bird, the cardinals in the background. So I have this thing called the Side Car by Jared Foldy. Look him up. He makes little basically cassettes that can be, there's a motor on it, and you can turn it and change the speed of what you recorded. So I just went outside, pressed record, and then once I got this weird kind of, once I just got the outside sounds of the birds, I just started messing with the motor in time with what was happening with the rest of the track to present a little bit more excitement. This boss feedback is cool. It's basically this synth line here, but I ran it through a cheap Boss distortion pedal. I think you could probably find them on eBay for like 25 bucks. And I ran it through an analog mixer and into the Boss feedback pedal, or into the distortion pedal, but then I turned up the feedback. That's a process I could explain, but it just kind of makes this little squealy sound on top of this. So I think that's it. Let's listen to the whole thing from the beginning, and then you can hear them all together. There you go. It's the intro to Alpha by Alma Dogma. All right, Summer Starved here, back with the mix walkthrough for the single Alpha by Alma Dogma. We just went through the intro part, and I wanted to show you a few other parts of the song. Probably going to be split up into multiple videos, but here we go. Sorry for the lag, if there is any in the video, if that bothers you. But let's just try here, going from the intro. Actually, the intro guitar line, which I thought was really cool. We worked on this. I'll bring it down a little bit. So what we had first was this kind of da-na-na with the overdrive. What we did, that little break here. So that's just like you mute the one, essentially. Instead of playing this over and over again, you actually kind of stop right here, and it just gives it that jump, which we just like really loved while we were making that together, while we were kind of messing around with the intro. Cool. Going into verse 1. In that so that riff goes through the whole verse and just kind of glues it together with the rest. So right here, the chorus, I'll show you what happens. So classic production trick that I've stolen from other really amazing producers is just drop the bass. It adds so much life to whatever's coming next is when that bass comes in. So don't be afraid to mute things. If you see right here, just cut out for that whole first chorus. And what we did for this guitar part, what I have labeled as chorus, kind of had this, Steve did a great job of playing this like Strokes-esque guitar line here, just driving. And what I did is I started to fade it in left into center. So as you're listening, you kind of feel some movement, but you don't exactly know what it is. But now that I told you, you will. So here's chorus 1. Starting to fade in right into the intro. that's going through the whole thing. I was kind of thinking like Bruce Springsteen 80s, like just that background kind of thing. And that introduced this little thing. Sounds like R2-D2. Not that loud, but so I have these two things, which is two synth lines kind of. Yeah, let's just do that. And that's adding. So verse 2 is cool. You hear it coming. So what I did was bring in this. It's the exact same thing for the intro, but now it's actually playing over the chords. And the bass is just kind of fuzzed out. And what we did is we cut out from the first verse. You see here we got this thing rocking. We have the riff going, but we decided second verse, cut the riff out right in the beginning and then just introduce it right here. You don't have to cross the deepest sea. So it's adding something new, but you're familiar with it already. And yeah. So then I'll play you like kind of in the middle of the chorus here into the bridge. So it's kind of building up to this. Here's the bridge here. So what I'll do there is just kind of bring that in section by section so you can hear what's happening in that bridge. So we got really excited about. So you get the drums, bass, acoustic. And then we have a bunch of stuff happening here. Guitars come in there. One of my favorite things Steve did was this feedback track. He did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of feedback, and I was obsessed with it. It's not super loud in the mix, but you know it's there. Kind of got this little softy but a goodie there. And then the auto harp break, which is cool. This is basically that same auto harp. I guess I have it turned it off. I just want to show you what it sounds like on. So it's just subtly there. Yeah, right there in those drum parts here, I just kind of did this tambourine. I just kind of shook it and like faded it out. And then this cabasa actually just is, it's just me kind of shaking it, but it actually came through a lot more than I was expecting on that part there. Almost sounds like a rattlesnake. So yeah, that's the bridge there, and I'll just play out the intro and or the outro. I love how he held out. Almost. Just like held that out over that. It's so cool. Yeah. So really influenced by Wilco, indie rock, Pavement, that kind of stuff is it's a big influence of ours. So a lot of the tracks on this record are kind of they just like deconstruct and completely fall apart at the end, which is part of what we wanted to do is kind of form these intros that are like fading in and then grabbing on the hook. And at the end, just letting like the whole thing unravel. So that's kind of what we did. All right, so that's Alpha by Alma Dogma walkthrough. Thanks a lot.